And I hope everybody's had a good Monday so far. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Emma Good of social media agency 24 Fingers. We help people that are all fingers and thumbs with their social media, from strategy through to implementation, through to training workshops like this and the ones that we do every Friday, and then analysis, so we can tell companies how their social media is working for them and what it's doing for their business. To my left, I have Kathy Ennis of LittlePiggy, and I'll let Kathy introduce herself, do the housekeeping.
Everyone, yeah, as Emma said, my name is Kathy Ennis and my business is LittlePiggy, and I'm a business mentor and trainer, and I specialise in working with businesses who aren't making the profit they deserve or dream of. So my role is to help them move from a point of passion for what they want to do through to a profitable business. And I work alongside Emma in terms of the strategic and planning side of engagement marketing, social media marketing, and then Emma is the massive creative force behind the delivery through 24 Fingers. So a little bit of housekeeping, as she said. We've got a bit to get through and we've got a short space of time, so if you do have questions, just pop them into the chat area and we'll do our best to answer them as we're going through. Okay, so that's really it. We're here for about half an hour now, so I'm going to share my screen, and Emma, you're going to pick up from there, aren't you? So I'll just pop it to here.
We will be sharing the slides after by email, so do look out for those this afternoon.
Come on, here we go. Okay.
Brilliant, thanks Kathy. So today's session's around blogging. Some of you may have a blog, some of you might not have a website yet, but we're looking at what a blog can do for our business, and a blog is hugely important in terms of getting seen and getting seen by the right people. So today's session's about what a blog is, why we need one, and what to do with it once we've got one, and the impact that we can get by having a blog. How often we should blog, what should we blog about, is something that we're going to be looking at in more depth on our Friday workshop. They run 10 to 12 via Brentwood Chamber of Commerce. So today's very much an overview about if you're thinking about having a blog, or have got one but not quite sure whether you're making the impact that you need to. That's what we're going to be covering right now. So the first thing that I'd like to share in terms of a blog is a blog will let you appear on Google, which for today, any small business nowadays is nirvana. There isn't a more cost-effective way of getting you out there by people that don't know you, by people that aren't your friends and family, than being on Google. What we need to do is create content in order for that to happen. People don't know of our business, and unfortunately they're not waking up every morning thinking, oh, you know, I must go and see that company 24 Fingers. So I need to create content that's going to attract people to me, whether that's to come and visit my social media channels or to come on my website, to drop me an email, to leave their details in my contact form. So a blog is a great way of getting your business out there from an inbound point of view. And outbound is the stuff that we push out, it's the stuff that we put on our Instagram pages, on our social media feeds. But inbound is where we collect people in and we draw them in. And the way that we do that is, or one of the ways that we do that is by putting our expertise on a blog and putting out what we do, how we can help people on our website. So typically a website would be built in the WordPress program. There's others like Wix and Squarespace, but predominantly if you've got a website, a modern website, it's probably going to be built in WordPress. And within WordPress, you've got an area for blogging. And typically they are 500 word blogs, anything from kind of 350 upwards, but typically around 500 words that discusses a topic that you can help people with. So for me, it could be, for example, knowing what hashtags to use on your Instagram posts. I could write a blog about that, and at the bottom of the blog, I could invite people to get in touch or to download one of our content calendars, or to download our list of the 30 of the top hashtags over the last 30 days, for example.
Yeah, and I think that the key thing about this from, I suppose, a strategy point of view is the fact that we blog because we've got an expertise in something, and the blog is the place where we can demonstrate that expertise. I think the thing that frightens people, perhaps who aren't blogging at the moment or are thinking, well, do I need one, is the the idea that maybe they have to be the best writer in the world, that they have to be, really funny, or that what they write has to be, like you were a top level writer or journalist or something like that. But actually, what we're doing is we're using this thing to not only let Google recognize who we are and what we do, but also the people we get to read our stuff, that they get to know what we do, how we do it, but also our approach to it. So I think one of the key things I say to people about getting a blog going is, don't make it an academic exercise, because it isn't. It's a conversation with your potential customers. So it's much better to think about blogging as being something that you put out there in much more natural form in terms of writing than if you sat down and you wrote an essay type thing. In fact, the second thing, the essay type thing, is probably more off-putting than the conversation piece.
Thanks, Kathy. In terms of how the process works once you've uploaded your blog onto Google, we need to tell Google what to rank that piece of content for. So typically you're going to decide what keywords you're going to include in the blog, and that could be something like social media agency in Brentwood, for example. And that way, every time Google does a crawl on my website, it understands that that article needs to be shown to the people that are searching for a social media agency in Brentwood. So that's the kind of methodology of how we use a blog to get to the right people being the ones that are searching for our products and service. But blog can also have great impact for when we want to raise our own personal profile and our personal brand too. So you'll often hear people say, I want to become a thought leader in my industry. Well, really all that means is showing our expertise and showing how we work in our industry, what opinions we've got, what case studies we've got, what testimonials and what credentials we've got. And the blog really gets all of that into the narrative form. So I could do a blog, for example, about tomorrow I have a networking session. If anybody wants to join, I'll put the link into comments. But that's about me being a local leader for an organisation called Enterprise Nation. Kathy's the local leader for Norfolk. So if I did a blog about that, every time somebody searches for Enterprise Nation, Kathy and I's name would come up, and it would elevate us in terms of not just another social media agency, not the type of social media agency that sits in their bedroom posting on Facebook, but somebody that understands the trends, can lead the industry. So suddenly you're elevated. Blogs are great place to do that, to share your opinion, and also whatever you put on your blog, you could rehash that and put that as a LinkedIn article as well. So obviously LinkedIn is a B2B platform, so you could really go onto there with the content that you've written already, tweak it, and again reinforce your status as somebody that's leading your industry, not a bystander.
Yeah, I think the thing is that the one thing you can't be is, we say this quite often, you can't be vanilla. Okay, and this particularly comes out when we're blogging. Each one of us has a set of values that drive what we do and how we do it, and those come through, and they should come through in the kind of business that we run. So we will have an opinion within our own industry, and the one that always springs to mind is perhaps nutrition, as for me. And different nutritionists will approach, for example, gut health slightly differently. I'm not saying one is right and one is wrong. They will just approach it differently. Now, rather than going down a middle line, what we would be saying in terms of your blogging, demonstrating your expertise and sharing your opinion, is that you go with your stance on something. You can't sit on the fence. You need to be one side or another. And so this becomes very much about going back to something I said earlier about you demonstrating who you are and what your belief system is. So there's in terms of your business, you're the expert, and therefore you're sharing your expert opinion in these things called blogs. And it's very, sometimes it takes a bit of courage to sort of pin your flag to the mast and say, this is what I really believe and this is what I'm going to be going with, because there is always the concern that there may be some kind of backlash. because other people may not agree with you. But the fact is, if you can get debate going, it is massively impactful on your business. And, you know, other people are entitled to their opinions and you're just as entitled to yours. So you should not look at this as being a straight down the middle thing. This is who I am, this is what I believe, this is the way I approach things, and this is what I'm sharing with you. What will happen there is that those customers that will be more inclined to work with you because they have similar sorts of ideas, thoughts and feelings will be attracted to that. Those that don't won't be. And that's actually quite a good thing, because what we're doing in terms of our marketing generally is targeting a very specific group of people for a very particular reason. We can't do everything for everybody, and a blog is a great way to actually help people understand your approach to things, the way you think about things, and whether there's a marriage between their thought processes and your own.
Thanks, Kathy. So after you've done all that good stuff, you've written your content, you've got some nice imagery together, you've posted it on your website, you've optimized it for SEO, you need to look at what's going to happen in Google's eyes. So absolutely, a blog is, I would say, the number one thing that you can do to get a Google ranking and then optimize it afterwards. So like I said, Google crawls websites every 4 to 6 weeks. It sends out its robots and checks which websites have been updated, and then adds your content to its index of stuff. And that could be a blog on why people need a business mentor. It could be why people need a social media agency. So Google will add your content to its library. And the way that it does that is by looking at the page and understanding what you want it to be recognised for. So Google can only read text, it can't read imagery or videos. So we need to make sure that we tell Google in no uncertain terms what that page is about. So what we do is we include a keyword in the title, we include a keyword in the URL, a certain frequency of the same keyword within our copy. We also put that keyword in our images. So because it can't read images, we need to tell Google what those images are. And how we do that is by adding the keywords as alt text and adding the keywords as a picture title. And those 5 things will tell Google what that page needs to be indexed under, i.e. where it needs to be filed. We also do something called metadata. So the metadata is the little snippet you see when you Google something and you see a few lines of text underneath an article. That's called metadata. Now, typically that needs to include your keyword. So Google again sees that as a ranking, that your metadata actually sums up what your page is about or what your blog is about. You need to put that in the focus keyword as well. So every time we put in a blog or a page, we need to tell Google the phrase that we want that to rank for. So if somebody's searching for social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, for example, we'll have enough of those keywords within the metadata and the focus keyword to make Google realise that that's what that page should account for. Now, in terms of how quickly we can get business from blogging, you've got things like Google advertising, which some of you may have experimented with. That's going to be the quickest thing for you to get bums on seats, because people are actively searching for your products and service. But very quickly behind that comes organic search. So whoever's got Google Analytics on their website, and it would be great to understand in chat who has or hasn't got Google Analytics on their website right now, you'll be able to see on your analytics how many people found you organically, i.e. found you through a search engine. And if your percentage is low, that's a really key signaling factor that you need to be creating more content. And Kathy and I would recommend at least a monthly blog, if not weekly. In my business, we're doing pretty much daily now, because we've just extended and enlarged the team, and we've got more journalists working with us. It's very easy for us to create content. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute each of you need to do a daily blog, but at least monthly, because you need to be telling Google that you've got something new to file, something new to index. And when you do that consistently, it will start to build up a picture of your content. It will start to build up a picture of where you want to be ranked for. And it'll also start building up a picture of who is linking back to your content, and that's called backlinks. If anybody has seen those spammy emails or spammy LinkedIn messages saying, you know, we can get you 100 backlinks for 99 cents, please don't pay the 99 cents, do it organically. The way to do it is to have people load your content and give you a link back. So I might do a post around, you know, the best way to crack the LinkedIn algorithm in 2020. And then I might send that link to somebody that offers a complimentary service and say, you know, link back to my blog. And that way Google recognises that my content is of such quality that people want to link back to it, and it will give me some extra brownie points. And all of that combined impacts your Google ranking.
Yeah, and I think that often when people are in business and they have a website built, obviously what we want is we want people to find our website when they're searching, and there are other search engines. We use Google as shorthand because it is used 98% of the time worldwide. There's almost this field of dreams, Kevin Costner thing, build it and they will come, and unfortunately that doesn't happen. And as Emma said, you know, what happens with the search engines, they have these little spiders that go out and they crawl around the web and they index all of the things that they find on people's websites, on pages, etc. The thing is that if they go across a website and they index it and then they come back a few weeks later and they find that nothing has changed, they skip straight over it. And that then starts to push that website further and further and further down. And we do have a bit of a joke that, you know, where's the best place to hide a dead body? And that's on page 2 of Google, because nobody ever goes there. So what we're attempting to do is to get ourselves as close to that first page as possible, and actually up onto the top third if we possibly can, without paying for advertising. And this is one of the real benefits, if you want to put it in a purely business sense, of actually having a blog. Because if you're putting regular new content onto your site, because let's face it, your about page doesn't change that often, your products and services page probably doesn't change that often, you know, the standard pages don't really change very much. But actually, if you're putting a weekly bit of information on there, 500 words, around a keyword that is relevant to the business that you actually run, every time the search engines send their spiders out, they're going to find new stuff on your site that's relevant to what you're doing, that fits in with the kind of thing that people are searching for. And that's the thing that's going to give your website buoyancy in those rankings. And as I say, in that really, really practical sense, if you want your website to be found in amongst a space where there are 50,000 new websites set up every single day, then you're going to need to do something to put your stuff in front of people, and that's what a blog does. So if nothing else, do it for the sake that it's gonna, that thing you've invested in, that website, it's actually going to make it work for you rather than against you.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Kathy. So I hope that's given everybody an overview of what a blog can do and the power of a blog. We're going to be looking on Friday about how to implement a blog in your business, what to blog for, how to know what Google is looking for, how to know what topics you should be blogging about, how to know what keywords to include in your blog, how to set up your metadata, how to set up your SEO in order to rank, and then how to get your blog out there, because it's all very well loading all of this on a blog, but what happens next? And if you've spent time and effort and money in creating a blog, you want eyeballs on it. So we're going to be going through all of that on Friday. It's 10 till 12. It's here on Zoom again, and that's in collaboration with the Brentwood Chamber of Commerce. The next slide is Kathy and I's contact details. So if anybody has a burning question, perhaps has tried a blog before, perhaps not getting where they want to be from a Google point of view, do connect with us after. Kathy and I are more than happy to help and discuss what's going on in your business. Do connect with us on LinkedIn or any of the channels. Actually, Kathy and I are everywhere. We'll leave the screen up, and then we've got some time for questions. If anybody would like to take themselves off mute or pop it into chat, Kathy and I are very happy to take in any individual questions that are specifically about your business. Have we stunned everybody into silence?
I was about to say, have we stunned everyone into silence?
Can I ask a quick question? In terms of the metadata, where
Charlotte, was you asking about metadata?
And where does it go?
Yeah. Yeah, where can you find it? Yeah.
Where is it on the page?
Yeah.
So when you log on a WordPress site, typically you'll have a Yoast plugin installed, and if you haven't, I'd recommend that. And Yoast is a way of putting your metadata and your focus keyword on your page. So download it. It's a small little plugin. There's a premium version, but that way it will tell you how many times you've used your keyword, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, whether you need to up that frequency, and it will allow you to put in your snippet in that area too.
Thank you.
Yeah, Yoast is a WordPress plugin. There's another one called SEO Press. You actually have control over all of this stuff yourself at the back end, because remember, search engines aren't looking at the front of your site. They're not looking at the design and the prettiness and all of that kind of stuff. They're actually looking at the stuff that's going on in the back, and remember, they're just turning it into ones and zeros because they're binary anyway. So that's where you control it. You control it in the back.
Any more for any more? Here all day?
Not quite.
Not quite, no. We wish you were.
I'm sorry, I came in only about 10 minutes ago. So
Hi, Savannah.
Hello. I came in about 10 minutes ago, so I've missed about 20 minutes or so.
We'll upload the recording.
You will, thank you.
Yeah.
That's all right, no worries. So James, you're just starting out, aren't you? Do you think you'll be able to use a blog in your new company, your new venture?
Yeah, well, in fact, I started blogging last week. I mean, I
Brilliant.
was aware that how important it is anyway from a lot of research I've done. But there was some things I weren't aware of, like, say, putting internal and external links into your blog, into certain phrases or words. And also, you know, the importance of keywords, and yeah, something I you know, this metadata. This is something I recently discovered as well. So yeah, it's early days, but yes, it's, you know, I've posted, put my first blog on there last week. So, and I will be, you know, writing regular content for it. I mean, it is, I guess the problem for a lot of people is, what do I write about?
Yeah, that's something that we're going to go through on Friday. So we've got lots of free tools that you can actually work out what somebody's searching for from a local point of view, and also from your industry point of view. So I can go on there and work out what the phrases are around social media, what the phrases are around Brent roads in Essex. So that way I know exactly what to call my blogs and what keywords to use.
Right.
James, what business do you have?
It's a bookkeeping and accountancy business.
Okay, and is your website built in WordPress?
It is, yes, correct.
And have you got the Yoast or the SEO Press plugin?
I've got the Yoast SEO, yeah, and that's where I found the meta description on each page, yeah.
And it's, what you want to get is, you want to get your smiley face green, and it will, what will make it green, which is great. You need an external link, you need an internal link, and if you just do what it says, it does the work for you.
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of pages that, because I've got a lot of content on some of the pages, and it's not, and it, like, say I've got like a facts page, you know, frequently asked questions. There's a lot of content on there to you know, go out those keywords. What's that?
Can I just put something in? If it's a frequently asked question, it's likely to be something people are searching for on Google.
Yeah.
So my advice with FAQs is always turn them into blogs, because if people are searching for those on the internet, then if you write it as a blog, you've got a bit more long form content where you can go into a little bit more detail, and that means you don't have to have an FAQ section on your website.
Okay. Yeah.
So the main thing you can write blogs about are the questions people ask you.
Yes.
Asking you a question, write a blog.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got all your content sorted already.
I just need some clients.
Can I ask you about that external internal link matter? You mentioned that if you put something out on your blog and invite people to put a backlink, is that what you meant by that? How do you persuade people? Because many people, certainly my age, would be very reluctant if they didn't know what they were doing with that, you know?
Yeah, so basically you need to look for people that offer complementary services to you and not competitors. So what's your business?
I'm a therapist.
Which field?
Hypnotherapy.
You're a hypnotherapist. So, for example, if you went to a yoga practice, you could potentially do a swap where they did a guest post on your website, you did a guest post on their website, because the services, in terms of a holistic approach, could fit quite well together. And then they would link on their website that they spoke to your company, and then link back to your website.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Oh, right. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
It needs to be something that adds value.
Yeah. I was just going to say, a standard external blog would be if you would say, if you were talking about an organisation or a company or something that you've observed out there, and you make reference to it in what you're writing, then you just create a hyperlink in the text that links back at. So if you went, if you were talking about is it the British Association of Hypnotherapy?
Yeah.
If you were writing something about, observing their standards or whatever it might be, British Association of Hypnotherapy, my brain's gone. Basically, what you do is you just put a link behind those words, and that's classed as an external link, because you're saying to people, this is outside of me. Yeah.
Oh, it's so clever.
That's all right. That's what we're here for. Don't worry.
And it would be that in terms of, say, internal links, if you think about what James is doing, if he did keep his FAQs page, if he wrote a blog based on one of those questions, he could also say, and if you've got any more questions like this, just check out my FAQs page. And that's an internal link. So it's a link to one of your own pages, or even to another blog that you've written. Like I wrote in my last blog about so-and-so and so-and-so, you link out to that blog. So those are internal links. Those are links that actually exist within your own website.
Okay, thank you very much. That's really helpful.
Absolute pleasure. So like I say, we'll be sending over the slides and the recording by email very shortly. But if you do want to dive deep in terms of how to actually physically do this, pop along to the workshop on Friday, 10 till 12, and we'll see you there. But in the meantime, wishing everybody a great week ahead. Stay safe, take care, and see you all hopefully really soon.
You'll be sending the link through, will you?
Yeah, I'll do it by email.
Fabulous.
Thanks, Emma.